because this is a narrative campaign adventure game where you can play as much or as little as you want in a single setting, but the game plays over a series of chapters and sub-chapters that will progress as certain events or objectives are achieved, and players will be working cooperatively to follow the narrative and win or lose the game together. And each player is going to be playing as their own unique asymmetrical character, and they're going to have different skills, different magic or melee classes, and different abilities and strengths and immunities that are upgradable as the game goes on. Players also will be starting in their own unique location on the board with their own castle, and each character also comes with its own unique goal that can get character-specific upgrades for that character. Although players start separately, it's not too difficult to find each other on the board and then work together, and there are benefits to that because if you get into battle, you can help to attack and defend together, and that does give you an edge, but you might want to separate depending on your own unique goals because there might be something over there that you want to help you reach your specific goal and help you level up, whereas some of your teammates might want to go at another location that might benefit them. And the game's played over a very detailed board that's going to outline the entire world, and this board is broken into a sort of grid with labels on each of the grids so you can identify them. And this is important at different points in the game because different objectives or enemy cards might specify where different items or enemies spawn on the board. And the way this game works is that depending on the chapter that players are playing, there might be some specific rules or setup requirements, and then there's going to be a few sub-chapters to each of those chapters, and those might also come with some small tweaks to the rules, and the game's going to be played over a series of rounds where each player is going to have a number of action points that they can use in order to move around the board, visit different locations, and gain resources. Players all have their own actions, but they can spend them in any order amongst each other. After the players have performed all their actions, the enemies will get a turn where you're going to roll dice for each of the enemies, and that's going to dictate which direction they move. And if enemies end up moving together, they form a horde, which means that they just stay together for the rest of the game until they're defeated. But enemies can also do things like block resources, or if they move onto one of the players' castles, they're going to siege that castle, and players are going to have to go back there to try and protect it. Or they could also move into one of the character's current locations, which would trigger a battle with that character. Combat in this game is done through dice rolling, and the attacking character is going to be the player to go first, but then the defending player will be able to defend themselves through the use of dice and their abilities, and then it's going to alternate back and forth until one side or the other is defeated, and that would trigger the end of the battle. And of course, players can also upgrade their weapons and armor and skills, and also create potions to help give them an edge in battle. And if the players are able to complete the chapter's objectives while also defeating any of the enemies that come into their way, then they will have won that chapter and can move on to the following one. And the game continues like this, with new rules and mechanisms being added periodically as players complete the campaign, and a single campaign can take anywhere from 35 to 65 hours to complete.